Who were the Magi?
Who were the Magi? Okay. Uh, One, they weren't magicians. Number two, they weren't sorcerers. There is a text of Matthew, a Hebrew text of Matthew that's from the Middle Ages, that describes them as machnim, believers. They were probably um, they probably served like Daniel and his
Mm,
three buddies served in the royal courts of Babylon and then later Persia. Uh, they had these sages. Um,
gotcha. So they were, in effect, spiritual successors of Daniel.
and if they are machnim, and that's used in such a way that they were not only successors of Daniel into what they did, but they were Jewish successors of Daniel.
All right, interesting.
Because how else would they have known to look for the star in the sky if they had not known two things? Um, well, let's just leave it at one. A star will rise for Jacob,
Mm-hmm.
the prophecy of Balaam. Balaam came from the same area of the world,
Yeah.
and he had a reputation, a pretty sterling one. So undoubtedly that would have been passed on in that part of the world, and um, certainly you had the tradition of Daniel
Mm-hmm.
being an important part of, number two in the land, and his buddies. So you have Daniel and his buddies, and you've got the Balaam prophecies, all of which only that's the only way you can make sense of why they were looking for the star
Right.
at that time.
That makes
They
sense.
hadn't been looking for the star for ages, but at that time, because Daniel had given us a hint in Daniel 9 as to when the Messiah was likely to show up, and they could
Deduce
count
from that.
years
Yeah.
and could deduce when to look for it, and then whatever this was, they saw it and they said it all matches up. Balaam,
There you go.
star will rise, a
All right.
scepter to rule
So
Israel. So,
why are there
in
different?
all likelihood, yes,
Yeah.
they
Okay.
were Jews.
So why are there different Christmases in the Christian tradition? Like, why is there December the 25th, January 7th? Is it just
All
more
right,
calendar
January
nonsense?
7th is the easiest one to deal with. Um, January 7th is when Christmas falls on the Russian calendar. Russia has its own calendar. Okay.
Gotcha.
January 6th is called in the Eastern Church Epiphany. Epiphany celebrates the arrival of the wise men.
Mm.
Um, and um, that too is part of the Christmas story.
Right.
So, as part of the extension of Christmas, you have Epiphany, January 6th. In some parts of the world, you celebrate what, the 12 days of Christmas?
Right.
January 25th? Oh, pardon me, December 25th to January 6th,
There you go.
12 days. And then that's about how long it would have taken, like I said, for the riding by camel for the Magi to arrive from somewhere in what we now call Iraq, that time Babylon, to show up.
Gotcha.
And by the way, Babylon had a large Jewish population at that time.
Right. Okay, so final question. Was it an inn, upper room, or was it the Migdal Eder? Where was he born?
Okay, Migdal Eder refers to the tower was around which the shepherds were keeping their sheep.
Right.
He was born, according to the text, the Greek text, in something called a kataluma. Kataluma means not an inn, but a guest room. Remember, Mary and Joseph showed up at the home of a family member, and they needed to use the guest room. The guest room was already taken because they probably showed up at night. So they ended up where the sheep were being kept, which was also indoors and functioned very much like the first floor or a subterranean floor.
Okay.
And obviously, by the next morning, the people who occupied the guest room said, "Oh, one of our family members or one of our relatives had a baby. They should be up here, not us."
Right. Okay. So and even it would have been a space that would have afforded them some level of just like privacy from everybody else, and yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.